Do you have a buccula? Does anyone ever bust your buccula? I bet they have. I scratch my buccula all the time because buccula is the English word for double chin, and bus is another word for kiss. But you didn't know that, did you?
What's your catchphrase? Chinning!
English has over 1 million words on the books, but the average native English speaker only really knows about 20,000 to 35,000 words and uses even less on a daily basis. Naturally, there are thousands upon thousands of great English words that no one really uses anymore. And that's a shame. They get forgotten like a dusty antique on the back shelf of a shop. We should expand our exotic vocabulary to spice up our conversation. People will either think we're intelligent or a little bit kooky, and that's okay. So let's play a little lighthearted word game. You've heard of Balderdash, Pictionary? Well, this is similar. I'm going to present to you some real English words that you've probably never seen before because they've fallen out of general use. I'm going to give you at least 3 probable meanings for that word, but you have to guess which meaning is the true one. You have 5 seconds to guess. If you get all the words right, you don't have to subscribe. But if you get one wrong, then you have to like and subscribe. That's the rules. I didn't write the rules. It's just the way it is. Are you wise to these words? Let's find out. The first word is napiform. It's one of these 3 possible meanings: sleep-related or drowsy in nature, turnip-shaped, coarse-textured, or fuzzy. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is the shape of my head. I mean turnip-shaped. Napiform describes something round on top that gradually tapers towards the bottom. It comes from the Latin word napus, which means turnip. It is believed that the modern English word turnip is a combo of the word turn, as in turn or shape on a lathe, and the Middle English word nape, for the turnip plant. The next word is quackerwodger. Is it a puppet or marionette, a clumsy or awkward person, or a small, mischievous bird? You have 5 seconds to guess. The correct answer is a puppet or marionette. Is an old, fun word for puppet or marionette. Its origins are a little murky, but it's believed to be a slang term from the 19th century. So the next time you feel that someone's pulling your strings, maybe you are a quackerwodger. The next word is crapulous, and here are 3 possible meanings: feeling sick from excessive eating or drinking, bad-tempered or irritable, or extremely stinky. You have 5 seconds to guess. The correct answer is feeling sick from excessive eating and drinking. Crapulous comes from the Latin crapula, meaning drunkenness or a hangover. The next word is groak. It's one of these 3 possible meanings: to grumble under one's breath, to daydream during a conversation, to stare silently at someone while they're eating. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is to stare silently at someone while they eat. You're groaking. You're a groaking tongue. Apparently this word comes from an old Scottish term for watching someone while they eat, drooling over their food. And the next word is perisprostokium. One of these 3 possible meanings: a type of fabric used in medieval clothing, a figure of speech where the latter part of the sentence surprises and defies expectations, a form of ancient poetry. You have 5 seconds to guess. Guess wisely. And the correct answer is a figure of speech where the latter part of the sentence surprises and defies expectations. I bet this could apply to a lot of comedy. There's always curveballs. Perisprostokion comes from the Greek para, against, and pros, forward, meaning a turn against expectations. It's a figure of speech that sets up an expectation and then twists it, often with humor. For example, I told my wife that she was drawing her eyebrows too high. He looked surprised. And just for the fun of it, here's some other examples I thought were great. I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather, not screaming and yelling like the passengers in his car. Or, the last thing I want to do is hurt you. It's still on my list. Light travels faster than sound, which is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. If I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. War doesn't determine who is right, only who is left. Groucho Marx said, "To steal ideas from one person is plagiarism. To steal from many is research." Now, if any of these jokes are from some comedian, I don't know. These are words, these are phrases that have been circulating, but they make you think. The next word is mumpsimus, and the three possible meanings: a stubborn person who insists on their own ideas despite being proven wrong, a playful nickname for a pet, a forgotten word for a compass. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is a stubborn person who insists on their own ideas despite being proven wrong. You know anyone like that? Mumpsimus comes from a story of someone who mispronounced a word during prayer and deliberately refused to be corrected, insisting he was correct. It's the perfect word for anyone who holds to incorrect beliefs, despite being proven wrong. The next word is froust. It's one of these three possible meanings: to lounge around lazily in a warm, stuffy place, to wander aimlessly in a forest, a sudden gust of wind. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is to lounge around lazily in a warm, stuffy place. It's that fuzzy, lethargic sensation you feel when the air is thick and you feel too comfortable to move. The next word is Agelast or Agelast. One of these three possible meanings: a type of flower with sharp petals, a person who never laughs, or a person who is always cracking jokes. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is a person who never laughs. Agelast comes from the Greek agelastos, which means without laughter. So if you know someone who's always so serious and never cracks a smile, let's call that person an agelast. Or you can quote the Joker.
Why so serious?
And the next goofy word is Hotti Paul. It's one of these three possible meanings: a foolish or silly person, a type of vegetable, hidden treasure, or secret. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is a foolish or silly person. Hotti Paul is a quirky term for a person who's a bit of a fool. Maybe like me. Am I a Hotti Paul? Maybe a little bit. Comes from an Old English dialect, likely a combination of hod, meaning carrying a basket, and Paul, meaning head. Basket head? Basket case? So a Hotti Paul is someone who carries around their foolish ideas in their head. A Hotti Paul. The next mystery word is limerance. It's one of these three possible meanings: a type of mythical creature, a form of dance from the 18th century, the intense, often obsessive feeling of infatuation. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is the intense, often obsessive feeling of infatuation. Limerance is actually a psychological term that was coined in the 1970s. So if you ever felt like you couldn't stop thinking about someone, maybe you were experiencing limerance. Or you're a psychopath. One of the two. And the next word is Bibliopole. It's one of these three possible meanings: a collector of rare books, a person who sells books, type of ancient writing tool. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is a person who sells books. Bibliopole comes from the Greek biblion, which means books, and polein, meaning to sell. So bibliopole is just a fancy word for a bookseller. And finally, the last word, kakistocracy. It's one of these three possible meanings: a form of government based on merit, a system where leaders are selected by lottery, a government run by the worst people. You have 5 seconds to guess. And the correct answer is a government run by the worst people. Kakistocracy comes from the Greek kakistos, meaning worse, and kratos, meaning rule. Not exactly the type of leadership you want. Good thing we don't live in a krakistocracy. Release the krakistocracy! And there you go. How many of these crazy forgotten words did you get right? If you enjoyed playing along, please hit the like button and share this video with a fellow word nerd.